Hello, Jenny Murray welcoming you to the podcast for Women's Hour for Wednesday the 31st of July. Princess Haya, the estranged wife of the ruler of Dubai, appeared in the High Court in London yesterday, asking for their children to be made wards of the court and for herself to be protected from molestation. Who is she and what is she hoping to achieve? Now, as I'm sure you've heard in the news, Princess Haya bint Al Hussein, the estranged wife of the ruler of Dubai, appeared in the High Court in London yesterday. She left Dubai earlier in the year and is said to have been living in hiding in Kensington. She has considerable wealth of her own and has 2 young children. Her court appearance was to ask for 3 things. She wants her children to be made wards of the court, has asked for a forced marriage protection order and a non-molestation order. Well, who is she? And what is she trying to achieve? Well, Joshua Rozenberg is the presenter of Radio 4's Law in Action. Louise Callaghan is the Middle East Correspondent for the Sunday Times and joins us from Istanbul. Louise, what is Princess Haya's background?
So Princess Haya is this kind of really, really modern, highly educated, outward face of the Dubai royal family. And so she's born in Jordan. She's the half-sister of Jordan's King Abdullah. So, in her own right, she is incredibly powerful. And she grew up largely in the UK. She went to boarding school in the UK, and then she went to Oxford. And then after that, she had this, during that, she had this remarkable life of being an Olympic equestrian. And, by all accounts, she's this very kind of urbane, highly educated woman.
She's not the first woman in the family to flee Dubai. Last year, we spoke to the friend of the Sheikh's daughter, Latifa, who had escaped and then been picked up on the coast in India. What is going on there?
So, as you say, Princess Haya is actually the 3rd woman to escape from this family, or leave this family. That is quite remarkable. So, in 2000, Princess Shamsa, who's one of the Sheikh's daughters, is thought to have run away from the family's UK estate. And she had this very dramatic escape, it seems, where she drove a Land Rover to the edge of the estate, jumped over a wall and ran away. According to claims by her sister, Latifa, Shamsa was later captured, brought back to Dubai. She hasn't been seen in public since. Now, Princess Latifa, last year, in this very, very remarkable story, published a 40-minute video online where she spoke of what she claims as years of torture and abuse at the hands of her family. Now, in last year, Latifa ran away, or her friends claim that she ran away, and she tried this amazing escape on a yacht to Goa, and just before she arrived there, she was captured and her friends claim brought back to Dubai. Now, the only time that we've seen any public evidence that Latifa is alive since then came in December, during this very, very bizarre visit by the Irish former president Mary Robinson to Dubai. Now, Robinson's a friend of Haya. Haya is not Latifa's mother. And it appears that Haya invited her to Dubai for a lunch, and she met with Latifa, and there's these very strange, stilted photos of Mary Robinson with Latifa. So that was presented as a kind of proof of life. Now, that's all that we've really heard from them. And so Haya's the fact that Haya left Dubai is the latest in a series of really remarkable events with the women of this family leaving.
Why would you say Princess Haya has come to London rather than going kind of home to Jordan where she was born?
Well, it's a very, very difficult diplomatic situation. Jordan has very deep ties with the UAE. There are many Jordanians who live in the UAE. It would be potentially an extremely difficult and embarrassing situation for her family. So it would appear that an easier solution perhaps is to go to the UK where she has links and that they have property.
Joshua, I know you watched the proceedings yesterday at the High Court. What was she asking the family court to provide?
We know that she's asking for wardship for her 2 children. We know she's asking for a forced marriage protection order, as you say. And we know that she's applying for a non-molestation order. Beyond that, we know very little and can report even less.
What does wardship actually mean? Does that mean the children would be a ward of the court or awarded to her?
It means they are wards of the court, and that very old-fashioned procedure, the inherent powers of the court, means that the court is responsible for them. It applies to anyone under the 18 who is made a ward of court, and the court has to take any significant decisions as to their future, their schooling, where they live, what happens to them. It means that the court protects them against the world.
Now, a forced marriage order is not something we're familiar with. What is it?
It can help somebody who is being forced into a marriage or is already in a forced marriage. It's an order of the court. It is not an off-the-shelf order. It's designed to meet the particular circumstances of the person applying for it. So, for example, it can say that an individual mustn't be taken out of a city, out of the country. It may say that somebody can't be harassed or pestered. It might say that no arrangements can be made for a wedding. It's designed to protect an individual against being forced into a marriage, and obviously if they are the subject of this order, then the courts can deal with anybody who breaks the order.
How common is it for a mother to ask for protection for herself as well as her children?
We don't know exactly what Princess Haya is asking for. All we know is that she is asking for these orders and for wardship for her children. We do know that forced marriage protection orders are becoming more common as people become aware of them.
Now, the Sheikh and his wife have hired what you can only describe as superstar lawyers. Who are the two solicitors and why might they have been chosen?
Money is clearly no object. They are indeed the two stars of the solicitor's profession, and they were in court yesterday, sitting on opposite sides of the same bench. You've got Fiona Shackleton, Baroness Shackleton, and you've got Helen Ward, Lady Ward. Baroness Shackleton and Lady Ward have both been involved in these very high-profile cases. Lady Shackleton acted for the Prince of Wales in his divorce from Diana, Princess of Wales, and Paul McCartney in his split from Heather Mills. And Helen Ward was representing Guy Ritchie in his divorce from Madonna. And of course, they also had barristers in court, and they don't come cheap either.
Just briefly, the family courts are usually absolutely private. Why do we know the details about this case that we know?
There is a trend for the family courts to become more open, and reporters from the UK media alone were allowed in court yesterday on condition that we report only what we're allowed to report. There is a feeling that the public is entitled to know the broad areas that the court is involved in, even though the proceedings are private.
Louise, just a final point to you. Why might this case taking place in Britain prove embarrassing for the British government?
It could be very difficult for the British government because of the immense wealth, power and standing of the individuals involved. So both the Sheikh and Princess Haya are friendly with the Queen. They know the royal family extremely well. And the fact, the UK has deep diplomatic links with the UAE as well. So if this divorce becomes acrimonious or difficult in any way, this could be very embarrassing for the UK government.
Louise Callaghan and Joshua Rozenberg, thank you very much indeed, and we will, of course, keep an eye on everything that happens here.